Council sound check, council test.
Hello.
Hi. Yep. Oh, I was on mute. Okay.
Test. 1, 2, 3, test. What a freaking name. Okay, so
I just very simply, it is a stop up and close. There's two applications, one adjacent to Poplar Point Road and one on Arnott Drive. The applicants have met all the requirements of the road closure policy. The purpose of the meeting this evening is if any members of the public had any concerns, to voice those concerns. Nobody's registered any concerns with me, and we do not have anybody here this evening, so. No questions this evening. Okay. And Lane's just going to come down so that he can be in the council chambers to answer any questions from council. Oh, apparently we're back online. Thank you for your patience. Lane's on his way.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Presenting the third quarter financial statements for 2021. Of course, we're 75% of the way through the year, so this report should be reviewed in relation to the first and second quarter report comments that were already provided. There's a number of comments throughout the report as it relates to variances, and so I won't go into those in any great detail. And I will say that despite COVID and the challenges associated with it, a very strong performance and really high activity in Department 13, our building department once again. So that's welcome. Shows that we have a strong economy going here locally. Of course, because of that, we also have an impact on the availability of some of our contractors as well. So that's had an impact on our roads department, some of the contractors there. But I will say that that Rick and Rick's right-hand guy there, Shui, they did a great job with their crew in terms of getting a lot of the roads ready for resurfacing. And so we got the majority of our roads resurfaced this year. They just finished up late on Friday. I do know that there's some townships that didn't get any of the resurfacing done this year. So really kudos to the guys for really, they have to have everything ready when the crews show up, and they did. And so it was a great job this year for that. In the recreation department, obviously some challenges there with revenues, lower revenues. But I will say that that Mike and Tiffany, Megan Hunter and her crew at the marina did a great job this year as well. And the marine operation performed really well with strong revenues. And they were very careful in their spending, so I think we should have a net positive operating position there. And just one final comment, I would say, with respect to the province and their support, as council is aware, we probably received over $1 million in terms of 4 separate grants, the Safe Restart program and a couple of COVID relief grants. So those pockets of funding have really allowed us to mitigate most of the expenses of COVID and put us in good stead. And we'll use the remaining funds that we have to help us mitigate any of those impacts on reduced revenues, I think, to date. So yeah, without that, we'd be a lot different situation. We wouldn't have been able to support the community as much as we did last year either. So I definitely appreciate that support as well. But I'd be prepared to answer any other comments that council may have or any questions.
You have your mic on
Now, I turned it off when we weren't broadcasting. Okay, so we have 2 items, 6A13 and 7. So we'll go first to 6A13, which is the Township of Enniskillen.
Yes, that's correct. I would like council to support their resolution. It discusses many of the shortfalls that we've witnessed or we anticipate could happen if Health Canada is not more thorough with cannabis operations, especially in regards to initial applications and follow-up inspections. I just think that the more people that register a concern, hopefully the more attention Health Canada will pay to their duties to perform this service.
So you're going to move that.
Yes.
Is there a seconder? Okay, Anita. All those in favor? Okay, carried. Okay, I just wanted to talk to item number 7, the Peterborough County Report. During a recent, during the meeting that those minutes are in respect of, there was a discussion about the city of Peterborough's official plan. One of the items on this, on the official plan is, and has been there for some time, but is there again, is the transportation corridor that is north of the city that transits Selwyn Township. And I think from my perspective, I believe the deputy mayor shares that perspective, that it might be timely to send a letter to the city reminding them if they are to take any actions or to do anything in respect of that, that our expectation is that we would be consulted in a fulsome and a early manner on anything that was being done. And Rob, I don't know whether you wanted to speak to that at all.
Happy to, Mr. Chair. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think that's inappropriate. I guess to your point, it's a corridor that has been in place for some time. It is in their current OP, and they're essentially referencing it again. That does have implications in the township of Selwyn, and this advising them of what our requirements would be. I guess, given that is not inappropriate, we'd be happy to send a letter.
Sorry.
Thank you, through you. As Rob has just said, the last OP for Peterborough actually was in 1998, where the ring road showed up. And a lot has changed since then in the last 23 years. The fact the parkway is now gone from the new OP, where it was before in there, suggests that the ring road may have more importance than it did before. It literally ends at Trent University, which means that the traffic would be coming off of there onto Lakefield Road, going through Lakefield to get to Highway 28. And if the city suggests that transportation corridor should remain, putting that traffic coming into our township, not only would our infrastructure be affected, but I would suggest that the city might want to think about helping to pay for another bridge over the river, because it's something that I think will be necessary down the road if this happens. And I'm not sure if council wants to comment on it, or is it good enough just to send a letter to say we want to be consulted? I leave it up to my colleagues, but I think that the comment period had to be up to November 1st, Rob, which doesn't leave us much time. So I'll leave it at that.
Thank you, through you. I agree with sending the letter. However, because the comment period being shut down at the 1st or whatever, I'm sure we can get an extension on something like that if we wanted to voice comment right now, because I think to Sherry's point, there's a lot of variables in here that they may not have considered because it's not their problem. And, you know, the city of Peterborough might not be the city of Peterborough being the city of Peterborough, they may not have thought that far ahead, if you will. So I would agree with Sherry then maybe we should preliminary concerns right now that we may be worried about. Plus two, we're taking a look at it online or in the paper. It's fairly blurry. I'd like to see a copy of this thing that we can actually read. That way we know exactly what we're talking about. But I think if we hold off a little bit, or get them to hold off for us to make comment at the next meeting, I would like to see that rather than just a letter saying, hey, whenever you get to it, let us know. I think it's important now that they know where we stand on it, you know, because it's Peterborough, right? They tried to roughhouse a couple other municipalities neighboring them, and well, it didn't turn out too well when the casino went in cabin. So we might be able to achieve a little more bang for our buck as well.
If I understood both of you correctly, it would be to include in the letter, enunciate what some of our concerns would be, not just consult with us, but this is why we have a concern. Traffic flows, population displacement. We can ask for them to delay it, but their official plan. Well, we can ask, but we don't control that part. We don't control that part. We can make a request. But I think including those concerns, so there's two parts to the letter. One says, we want to be consulted in anything we do early and fulsomely. And here are some of the, some of the issues that were raised at council about traffic flows, about costs, about property acquisitions, about population displacements. So those I think are the four biggies, and put that in there. And also to suggest to the city that we could provide a more fulsome enunciation of those concerns if they're willing to delay till our next council meeting. Did you get all that, Rob?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, Donna.
I just want to thank the deputy mayor for picking up on this because I wasn't aware of it. So that was good. Thank you. I have a huge concern about the bridge because I don't think it could handle a lot more traffic. So I think the bridge really has to be front and center in our concerns.
And so specifically in talking about the transportation part, make reference to the limited capacity, that there's a pinch point in Lakefield that would be significantly affected if traffic was being routed up that road.
Exactly.
Yep. Yes.
So also the bridge at Trent University would be another concern. I don't know if the route would take into account I know that that's in the city of Peterborough, but that there's a bridge as well with all the buses coming in through TAS. And I don't know if they're planning on putting a roundabout on the one side of the bridge, because if you are trying to do any traffic or any driving in the area of Trent University off of, what is that, Water Street? It's a nightmare as well.
At certain times of day, they back right up onto Water Street because of problem. Mind you, in that particular case, we'll have to leave that to Peterborough Council to
Yeah.
deal with that part. Our concern is going to be our bridge in our township. But it is something for them to consider, hopefully. Okay, I think that has given Rob some direction. Do you need a motion to that effect, Rob? Oh, sorry.
And if I could, through you to Rob, I wonder too, if you can get us a better copy of that.
The map,
Yeah.
the exhibit.
I find it very blurry and things like that. And if I've got to come pick it up, I'll pick it up. You know what I mean? I just see something a little bit better.
Well, I think we've got we can reproduce, we've got a good machine here that will reproduce
Yeah,
a good
sure.
copy for us.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got copies here. I can send you an email with a really high resolution copy for your information as well. I can do that tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay, so to formalize this request, maybe the deputy mayor would like to thank you.
Yes, I'll make the motion that we are going to send a letter and request an extent, stating some of our concerns up front and asking for an extension to provide further comment.
and make the point that that if any future use of that corridor, that we be consulted early.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah,
Yes.
so that has to be in the letter. as well.
Yeah.
All three of those things.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna express some of our concerns. We're gonna say we need to be consulted early and fulsomely, and we're going to ask for an extension so that we can make a more fulsome comment about our concerns. So-
Yeah.
And seconded by Jerry. All those in favor? Jerry, thank you very much, Sherry.
Okay.
So now we need a motion to receive all the rest of the consent items. Okay, Anita and Jerry, all those in favor? Thank you. And then we move on to portfolio updates. We'll start with Donna.
Thank you very much. A couple of these committees were, just happened after I typed it, so I had to do some scribbling in here, so bear with me if I can't read my printing. So the library board was just this afternoon. We passed the vaccination policy for the library staff and volunteers. Silent auction items are on the website now, and bidding starts Monday, November the 1st. There will be no Christmas lunch, and staff are going to have a meeting shortly to determine what the format will be to thank the volunteers. They haven't decided that yet, and that's usually a staff thank you with the board sometimes providing some of the food. Police Services Board yesterday afternoon. It looks like policing costs for 2022 in Smith and Ennismore will be reduced by approximately 120,000. So that's a really good news story. Stats indicate that greater numbers of impaired drivers, and it seems to be a combination of drugs and alcohol, but seeing more impairment due to drugs, which is concerning. And the provincial government will be passing a bill called Moving Ontarians More Safely Act, which may change operating parameters and cost implications for 2022-2023 budgets. It's unknown right now because this particular bill will involve photo radar. And transportation, we've got three separate numbers. So I've got October 4th to 8th, Route 31, the Curve Lake Lakefield one had 118 ridership. The Route 32, the Bridge North Ennismore, 56. October the 11th to 15th. Route 31, 117, so that was just one less. Route 32, 73. And then here we go, not being able to read here. Okay, October 18th, sorry, to 22nd, Route 31 up to 161 and Route 32, 74. So the stats are looking more consistent and the numbers indicate success of the service. Spoke to the fire chief today, and he said there's good training uptake. In the summer, they had some in-person training, and the Zoom training has been positive. They've received their 2 new boats, the one for Ennismore and the one for Lakefield, and they'll be doing the cold water training on Saturday. And there will be no Christmas dinner for the firefighters. They'll be doing the Zoom call for recognizing awards like they did last year. So,
Thank you, Donna. Sherry.
Thank you, through you. Congratulations to the Peterborough Chamber of Commerce Business Excellent Award recipients in Selwyn. Skilled trades went to Kawartha Lakes Construction, and hospitality was given to Jesse's Tap and Grill. And 4 under 40 profiles was Faith Dickinson. And I'd like to see a letter go from council to congratulate these recipients, please. Gas station is the closed gas station at the 6th line and Lakefield Road is for sale. And I was kind of surprised to see that because they had put an application in to do quite a bit of extensive renovation. And unfortunately, it's for sale now, so don't know what the story is there. And we have a new owner at Buckhorn Garage. And we just moved in our consent items, a motion that said that Ontario Garlic Week is October 29th to November the 7th. And Leisha has got the word out to all our restaurants and food producers on this. And one of the things being offered is black garlic truffles will be available at the Chocolate Rabbit. So I'm not quite sure what that'll be about, but and at our EDBC meeting last night, one of the things that was mentioned about the link is that you can apparently flag the bus down, so you don't have to necessarily be at a bus stop to stop it. And people are doing that. So just so you know. And next meeting, there will be a recommendation coming forward from the EDBC with regards to physician recruitment. Thank you.
Thank you, Sherry. Go to Public Works. Here.
Where was that bus when I was young, trying to head out to Bridge North in the middle of the night? My God. Chocolate covered garlic, what's wrong with that? Summer operations on the rec side have wrapped up. The capacity limits, of course, have been removed. So Mike had a staff meeting today just to make sure everything's good. We all saw that email that came through, and I've been assured that a little bit more common sense at the arena doors and a little bit more accommodation are going to happen. With regards to Public Works, we've got a 95% uptake with the clear bags per Waste Connections right now. So there's still the odd black bag out there that's getting tagged. The chipping operations, as Lane said, are finished. They got everything done except for a couple little wee spots. They had to change things up because a couple roads they noticed probably wouldn't make it through till next year. So they called an audible and did that. But they pretty much got the big stuff done, 15th, 16th, 17th lines, all that. So other than that.
Thank you, Jerry. Anita.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. With regards to the poppy campaign for Remembrance Day that's starting up this weekend, there's in Lakefield Foodland, LCBO and the beer store. There is also, I think, the LCBO in Buckhorn. They do have the poppy boxes out, and so hopefully people will donate to the poppy campaign. There are some modified Remembrance Day services happening. And I think we all received that email. It's going to be very low key. I know at Lakefield especially. I'm not sure how the Buckhorn service is going to work out. Curve Lake is having just for their community members, and Bridge North, they will have somebody there if people want to come and lay wreaths. We had for the Heritage Committee, we had our open house last week with regards to proposed properties that are going to go on the register. So we'll be discussing how that open house went when we have our Heritage Committee meeting later this week. We have our Accessibility Advisory Committee tomorrow. So we're going to be working on our 2022 work plan. We didn't have a whole lot that we were able to accomplish in 2021 due to COVID. And with regards to the Lakefield Community Garden, they wrapped up their season. Apparently on, I think it was Saturday, they had a cider making demonstration. I wasn't able to attend because I had to work, but the pictures look like they had fun. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Anita. On my portfolio report, just very briefly on public health, as Jerry mentioned, there were changes came into effect yesterday in terms of capacity limits. And we're working through that as a township, as well as many of our businesses will be working through that as well. I want to mention these are stats as of last week. There are approximately 9,000 young people between the ages of 5 and 12 that would be eligible if and when Health Canada approves the vaccine. So that's the number that we would be faced with. And secondly, in order to reach the 90% coverage for double doses for the eligible population, that is people who are currently 12 and above, there would need to be another 5,000 people. That's the number to get to 90%. So just wanted to mention that. Just very quickly, this is over on the weekend. We've had 596,000 plus cases in Ontario of COVID. We've had, fortunately, over 9,800 people who have passed away. And we have administered 228,000 doses locally, 22 million doses plus in Ontario, and 58 million doses in Canada. So there's been an active vaccination program. The only other thing I wanted to, or a couple of other things I wanted to mention, the provincial government announced a new round of funding for long-term care applications. And the deputy mayor and myself on Friday will be meeting at county council. There's a presentation on growth, a growth analysis, and we'll be reporting back to this council as we learn more on that. And on there's one other item that I wanted to mention, but I've lost it. Anyways, that was my report. So we'll move on to item number 11. We have,
Excuse me, Mr. Mayor,
sorry. Oh,
I have one thing to add.
yes, sorry.
I guess Anita and the other council members were not notified by the Ennismore Garden Club on the 7th of November at 1 p.m. They're having their first, well, they had a small Remembrance Day service last year, but this is going to be a much more upscale one, and they're showcasing their cairn which was made out of the dry stone material like they did their other walls and so on. So if other members of council could be there, I think they appreciate it. I'm not sure why that message didn't get through to other councillors, but it's 1 p.m. on the 7th, Sunday. No, I'll check.
Yeah, let's check on that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a question for Anita. The Legion had signs that they were fundraising with. When can we put those up?
With regards to the lawn signs, a lot of people have already put them up. I've got other people saying that they're going to wait till after Halloween. So I have one, and I'm going to wait until after Halloween, and I'll put mine up. And yeah.
Okay, thank you, colleagues. The one item under other and new unfinished business is Roma is again this year online. We have until November 15th to decide on delegation, so we have another meeting between now and November 15th. One of the ones that we may want to request is on long-term care, given the new allocation. So if colleagues are comfortable with that, we'll make that request. And I'll ask folks to think about it in advance of the next meeting. We'll put this back on the agenda. And if there are any additional ones, we can add them at that time if colleagues are comfortable with that. Yes, sure.
Who is going to Roma from our council? Just the two of us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, going is sort of we'll be attending virtually since there's no going. Okay, we have a couple of, we have the road closure bylaw, which we dealt with. Does somebody want to move that? Okay, Donna, seconded by Jerry. All those in favor? Are confirming bylaw. Okay, Sherry and Anita, all those in favor? And adjournment, Jerry, seconded by Donna. All those in favor? Thank you, colleagues. Thank you, staff.